What in the world is DMARC? If you're like me and have no idea, you're going to definitely want to stay tuned for this episode. Welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie writers on their journey toward publication. I'm Jennifer Carl Tong, and I write historical Christian romance.
I'm Christina Catena, and I write multiple genres, including Christian fantasy.
And good morning to everybody that is here joining us this morning. In the chat, we have Meg McDonald saying good morning to everyone. She said she's ready to rock and roll. Shell is here as well. We know you're up bright and early for us, Shell, because you're on the other coast. Thanks for joining us this morning. And thank you for everyone who listens to us as a podcast. We really appreciate you. You maybe not want to enjoy this episode as much because you really need the visuals, but I think that you'll still enjoy being with us. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, we appreciate it if whatever format you're using, you would like, subscribe, and just share with all your friends. And same thing here on YouTube. Do that as well. Speaking real quick before we move into our what's up, I got an email. Everybody else probably did too, from Google saying that they were suspending Google Podcasts. Now, if you listen to us on iTunes, or I guess it's called Apple Podcasts now, or Spotify or anywhere else, doesn't even matter. It does not affect you. And it really doesn't affect us. I'm not sure how many subscribers we have over there. It really affects me more as a person because that is the platform that I have been using to listen to podcasts. Thought it was a great platform. I like the ease of use with it. I like that it just matched well with my Google phone that I use. And I just want to have a little commentary here. Why is it that everything that Google has that's good, they get rid of? Right? Every so often they just decide to like clean house, I guess. I don't understand. We loved Hangouts. Hangouts is where this podcast started, basically, and they just got rid of it. Now I know we have Google Meet now, but they didn't have there was like this big gap between Hangouts and Google Meet. Why are they getting rid of podcasts? Like podcasts are like one of the most popular way people listen more to podcasts than they watch videos or anything else. It is growing. What is going on with Google? I don't know. That's just my comment.
Well,
I don't have any answers.
well, speaking of Google and discontinuing things, and this is
Mhm.
my what's up.
Oh, great.
Uh,
Nice transition. Thank you.
they decided to not renew the contract with the company that I work for,
Oh.
where I actually do work for Google as a contractor with this other company. And as of March 13th, they informed the company they were no longer going to be using them or contracting with them. So,
Hmm.
like, my paying job is going bye bye. Thank you, Google.
You know, it doesn't make any sense to me, some of the things that are happening, because I know here in the United States and probably like Western Europe, like namely Great Britain, iPhones are king, right? The rest of the world, Google formatted phones are king. So when you look at that, yes, there's a lot of people in the United States and in, Western Europe, but the majority of the world uses Google. Google has a better platform, especially for like more remote areas. So it's not like their products are not doing well. I just don't understand why they would take maybe they're going to replace it with something else. I don't know. Why wouldn't they just keep I mean, it's called Google Podcasts. It
Yeah.
doesn't take like it's just a great name. I mean, it tells you what it is. When we were
Hmm.
trying to name this show way back in the day, like we were all kind of coming up with some like really kind of like creative things. I'm like, why don't we just name it what it is? It's a podcast for Christian writers, Christian indie writers, and that's how this, I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, we have some more chat happening. Catherine Carroll says Google is shuffling people to YouTube music for podcasts. Of course. There we go. There's the true answer is that you have to go
Hmm.
over that. See, but then how long before they drop that or change that too?
Right.
Like I've just been burned by Google too many times now.
Hmm.
So, and then Meg says, I wonder if Google is being sold. I don't know if they're being sold or they're going to buy somebody, but I don't know who's bigger than Google other than Apple. And I don't see that happening, but
Yeah.
who knows? And Catherine's saying that she's sorry you lost your job. I'm sorry that you lost your job, but I'm kind of not sorry that you lost your job. And here's why. As your friend, I know you didn't love your job, number
Mhm.
one. And number two, you were in a contract that you could not go work for anyone else to do the same kind of work that you were doing.
Right.
Like, so this is actually going to open the door for you to actually look for maybe another job that you actually do enjoy. So
Right.
that's what I'm
If they're
praying for you.
real, like, it's so hard to find work from home jobs that are actually real.
That's true.
And I came across, well, actually, Jamie had told me about a friend of hers who worked for this company, and I've been working for them for like 6 years. So,
Mhm.
but the tasks have been drying up, and I've not been making much money anyway. So,
Right.
and then my other part of my what's up is I am about 90% done with organizing my office. I just have to go through some baskets and put stuff where it belongs. I have some
Mm,
files that I need to organize, and then I'm done.
that's awesome.
Excited about that.
Well, that's a great transition into my what's up. Because if you guys remember last week, my what's next was really about organizing and a refresh and a restart. And I'm still not done. Like I got quite a far ways. I had to order some more cubes. I'm using these cubes. They're kind of pricey and they were half off at Michael's in the month of January. So I've been buying these cubes that you can like it'll kinda look like the Calyx, if you know what that is, from IKEA, but it's like a cube system to organize things, and, I needed a few more, and one of the some of them that I ordered came in broken, and I had to go to the store and exchange them, and then I got the last ones I needed, and half of them were broken that so I'm really annoyed because I can't get finished up. Plus, I had some stuff kinda stuffed some of it's mostly crafting things, but also homeschooling stuff and things like that, stuff somewhere else, and I got everything kinda looking neat, and then I pulled that stuff out and realized I gotta organize this too. So, my office has not been touched yet, but I'm starting to feel a bit better. I'm feeling more creative because I don't have so many, like, things on my to-do list, you know? And
Mhm.
again, if you're new here, I have had a lot of loss in the past few years and a lot of things that I've had to go through. When someone dies, you have to go through things, and some things on my mom's I'm keeping, and some things I'm going to give away. But I have to go through it page by page, like papers, scrapbooking papers, sewing stuff, because she did have Alzheimer's. Like she would stick things. Like I found a whole package of my brother's baby pictures in a a box you would have guessed. And I also lost my brother this last year. And so again, like it's just been an emotional journey for me. But I'm still doing it. And I got some writing done this week. We got together yesterday. Those of you that are local, if you're in our group, our Facebook group, I don't think we mentioned it yesterday, but normally we mention when we're going to get together. It's usually on Thursdays, and I did get some writing done. I got some editing work done, and so yeah, feeling like I'm starting to get back to the normal Jen, which is exciting for me. So
Yeah, nice.
yeah. So, yeah, that was a pretty quick what's up. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Jamie is probably going to be late or not at all today because she had a
Right.
work thing come up. But
Right, at the last minute. So,
so be
she
a
wants
little
to be here.
shorter today.
Yeah. So, all right. So today we're going to go ahead and move right into our topic. And if it's something that you've never heard of, there's a couple reasons why you may never have heard of it. You could be like me and be trying to remain blissfully ignorant because you just can't look over there right now. Or two, you don't have a newsletter yet because you're not that in that place in your career. And that's okay. It's okay if you don't have a newsletter. We were talking about this yesterday. Meg met up with us to write. And if when we started off back in 2018, 2017, I guess was when we first started really
I
kind of
don't know. It was a while back.
writing. Yeah, 2017. We were, listening to other podcasts and taking advice from, experts, and everyone's like, start your newsletter now, start your Facebook group now. And so we were doing those things, and it's a struggle when you don't have a book out. And I'll tell you right now, I feel like it's a struggle when you don't have your whole series out. And if I were to do it over again, I might just blissfully write and not worry about if I sell anything. Now, I know you had to put some money out to do publishing. We've talked about that in the past. So it's hard to like not do anything. So I wouldn't say don't do anything, but the whole newsletter game is really hard when you don't have product to be promoting. You don't have things give away for free. So, all I'm trying to say is don't beat yourself up if you're not published yet and you don't have a newsletter yet. You can get there. And
Right.
if you do want to have a newsletter, we do have episodes about that. Like where you can go back and watch and see like there are some things you can do and get that started. But um anyway, so DMARC, what in the world is it, Tina?
Well, they're basically protocols that, um, and I didn't open up the outline, so let me just do that while I'm talking. Um,
I forgot we had an outline.
yeah,
I
because
probably threw you way off. I'm so
I
sorry.
that's okay. I put the technical definitions of these things in the
Mhm.
outline. So I just need to open it really quick so I can give you the technical definitions. But basically, what they are is these protocols that help to um, uh, they help to keep spam out of your inbox. So there's
Okay.
the oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to open it, and I don't
So,
have that on my phone. So
all right, are we talking about you want me to give the definitions of what DKIM and all that is?
yes,
'Cause
can you just give us those definitions
sure.
because
So
I
the
can't
the
find it.
DKIM is domain keys identification mail, and it is an email authentication method that uses a digital sender policy framework, SPF. So we have DKIM and SPF, and it is um, and it's so the DKIM is a method that helps to identify the mail servers that are allowed to send email for a given domain dot signature to let the receiver of an email know the message was sent and authorized by the owner of a domain. So many times you'll get things like in your email from like it says from Amazon. And if you look deeper, it's not actually from the Amazon domain. But there are some scam artists that have been able to try to make it look like it's from different domains. And so this will help with that. Now, the SPF is a sender policy framework, is an email authentication method that helps to identify the mail servers that are allowed to send email for a given domain. So, like we use MailerLite, Mailchimp, right? But so that would be more like the framework of how your emails are going out, as opposed to again these scammers setting up these fake frameworks so they can send
Right.
out bulk emails. And then finally, DMARC stands for Domain Based Message Authentication Reporting and Conformance. It is an email authentication policy and reporting protocol. It builds on the widely deployed SPF and DKIM. So it takes those two and it builds on it protocols, adding a linkage to the author, meaning the from, the domain name, the published policies for recipient handling of authentication failures, and reporting from receivers to senders to improve and monitor protection of the domain from fraudulent email. Well, there you go. We've solved it. Aren't you guys? Don't you guys feel so much better now? This is why we're all pulling our hair out. Like this is like
This
what?
is
This is
this is a lot of technical speak,
oh my
almost like another
gosh.
language, and it's just it was overwhelming when I first got an email about it. And
Right.
I have my personal author website that I
Mhm.
send newsletters from. I have a website for our church that my husband and I run, and then we have the podcast website. So I
Right.
actually sat down to figure out how to do all this, and I've done it 3 times now, so I'm an expert.
Right. And
Kidding.
I was so happy because I like just reading that gave me a headache. And I just did not have with everything I feel like I have going on in my life, I didn't have the brain width to even look over there. Just the idea of it, reading this, like it just overwhelmed me. And SL Parent is kind of agreeing. She says, "Good morning. Thank you for covering DMARC. I've got 2 out of 3 of my domains authenticated through MailerLite. Ugh, one refuses, even after contacting Bluehost customer service twice." This is the problem, right? Is that you may have problems and you just are at the mercy of both MailerLite and your hosting company. We host through Namecheap, and Tina has had really good like experience with working with them. So all I can say is you just got to keep up with it. You just got to like get on a chat with somebody until they can solve it for you. Like I wouldn't do it through email. I would do live chat or a phone
Yeah,
call, whatever they'll let you do. So,
yeah. I don't yeah, it's much easier if you have a live chat and you can, like, send them a screenshot of what you're seeing.
Yes.
And that's basically what I had to do like the first time. And now I feel like I'm an old expert. But I mean, if you don't have cPanel like we do and you don't have MailerLite, your results may vary. That's my disclaimer
Well,
for our
everybody has
thing.
cPanel, but you may not have access to it the way depending on how you are. So we're going to talk about that as we go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
okay.
that's pretty
So,
much the background. Like these changes are taking effect February 1st through Google and Yahoo. And if you're not in compliance and you send out a bulk email, it's probably going to end up in spam.
yeah, that's the key. Is that's what's why it's so important to us. It's not just because like it's this paperwork or these hoops you got to jump through. If you don't do it, every email you send out is probably going to end up in spam and no one's ever going to see any of your email. And especially if you rely on email marketing for book launches and like that, like I do, like that will be a huge problem for you. Like
Right.
that's you've taken the time. If you've taken the time to build up your email list, you want to maintain that. You got to keep that. So,
Right.
all right. So we went through, thank you, Tina, and we did mine and we recorded it while we did it. So we have a recording that we're um going to go on right. Are we ready to do that right now, Tina?
Yeah, I'm ready.
And Tina is going to talk us through this again. Now, mind you, this is I have like blocked out things and whatnot, but hold on. I got to get to it here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play and Tina, you go for it.
So the first thing that I had Jen do was open up her MailerLite, which is her email service provider. You might have MailChimp, you might have somebody else. But that's the first thing I had her do. And I also had her sign into her cPanel. Jen, do you want to tell us how you signed into cPanel?
So the easiest way is you go to your website. And let me go ahead and pause this right now. So I went to my website, jennifercarltong.com/cpanel. That's it. And it automatically takes you have to log in, but so you need to know your login through your who your host is, but that's the easiest way to get to it. There are other ways of doing it too, though, right, Tina?
Yes. Well, I did it the hard way. I went into Namecheap, to my dashboard, to my hosting list, found the correct domain, and there's a little button that says go to cPanel. So then I clicked it and it took me to cPanel.
Okay.
So that's, and Jamie's here.
Right, but we can't see her anyway, so I mean, I'll add her. Hi, Jamie. But we're all right. Okay, so here we go. I started the video over, Tina.
Okay.
So here we go.
Yeah, so we had her sign in to both her cPanel and her email service provider, which is MailerLite, and then I had her go to her account settings. So hopefully it will show you doing that here in a second. There you go. You're clicking it.
Look at you guys.
And then she's going to go to domains, because what we need to do is we need to authenticate our domain with our email. So here we have her she only has one domain and she's already been verified. She's already verified her. If that's not green for you, you're going to want to verify your email.
And
So
again,
go
yeah,
ahead.
that's a process you would do with MailerLite, right?
Right.
Like I remember doing it with MailerLite, and they have lots of tutorials, and you can just Google
Right.
search for that. Yep.
I mean, basically, you would just hit verify and they would send you an email, and you would go into that email and click a button or respond in some way, and it would then verify. So, what we needed to do was authenticate
So if
her.
everybody saw that, I clicked. Let me go back just a little bit because we were.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's right there. I click authenticate.
Right.
If you
So
see that.
obviously she doesn't have a green button. So this is going to give you the code that you need to put into your cPanel, because you need to create these records. So she's going to go into her cPanel here shortly, and we are going to, the first box is and the second box are two different codes, and we're going to put them into the correct spot.
So you take the one on the left, which is name, and we're going to copy that. You can see right there, it says copy. You just click that little button, you copy that, and then we're going to
Right.
go over. Yep.
And in cPanel, you're going to go to the section that's titled domains. So you can see here that first one says scripts.
And this is
she's
where it will look different, right? Depending on who your host is. We have Namecheap,
Right.
so this is what our cpanel looks like, but it'll
right.
all
Say
have
we
the
have a
same
Namecheap
stuff.
section right here that people
Yeah,
might not have.
right.
So she eventually she's going to scroll down here. There she goes. And she's going to go into the domain section. And under the domain section, she's going to choose zone editor.
That was a great pan. Wow.
Yeah, that was really cool. So she only has
Mm.
one domain, so she's gonna click manage for that one domain. If you have multiple domains, you want to make sure you get the right one. So now what she's gonna do over here where it says add record on the right, there's a little caret next to it. And she's gonna click that caret. Now, when we were back at that box that MailerLite gave us, it said for her to add a CNAME record. Couple of times it told me to add a CNAME record. One time it told me to add a TXT record. So pay attention to what they're telling you to add.
Okay,
And
I
it
paused it.
could
Okay.
change. It could
So
vary.
you'll see when I click that caret, there's different options, and we're going to scroll down to add CNAME record.
Right. Because that's what they told you to do at MailerLite in that box. And then she's going to go back over to MailerLite and she's going to copy that first box. See right there, it says, please add a CNAME record. So then she's just going to put that information under name, the first box. So she's going to go back and she's going to copy the second box. And she's going to put it under record. Paste it. And then she's going to click save record. So now she has that CNAME record from her pointing to her MailerLite. Or from her MailerLite. I'm not sure it's to or from, but that's, and then you go back. Now she already has an SPF record, which is why she has a green bar there. If you don't have a green bar, you're going to have two more black boxes and they're going to tell you to add a TXT record and put this code here and this code here. And you're just going to basically repeat the process the same way. Hit save record and it's going to give you the same message that you've added a record.
And I remember doing that with MailerLite. There was a reason why I had to get authenticated. There was something, but
Right.
so you may
now
already have done it, but
right. So once you've done those two things, once you have green, you can hit or actually you're not going to have green until you check the DNS record.
right.
So she's going to click this box that says check DNS and she's authenticated.
Ta-da!
That easy. It seems really complicated, but it once you figure out where you're supposed to put the code, so if you don't have cPanel, you might you might have to go to get to that section a different way, but the section is still going to work the same way. Is what
Right.
I'm saying. So
I
now
really,
go ahead, Jamie.
I was just going to say, I really appreciate that you guys did this in the way that you did it, because this is going to be very step by step for people, for me.
And then you can pause it. You can come back. This will be
Yeah.
on YouTube forever. You can come back and pause it, and it'll still walk you
Right.
through it.
So then what I did is I went to DMARCian.com. And you can either just go to the homepage or you can click the domain checker. And you're going to, there's a box. You're just going to put your domain address in. So she's going to put Jennifer Carl Tong in the box and hit check domain.
Hey, let's pause real quick. We had a question that I missed in here. Catherine Carroll asked, is cPanel the same as the DNS settings? You find your DNS settings in your cPanel. So cPanel, like Jamie kind of answered you. It's like the overall like folder for all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Sorry.
Okay. So she checked it and she said her domain's not protected against abuse and phishers. So, and spammers. So you can see here, it says her SPF is fine. Her DKM is fine, but she doesn't have a DMARC. So what do? We have to add a DMARC record. And this is actually easier than the SPF and the DKIM. Because all you do is you click that caret again to add a record.
Yep. Go back to your cPanel.
Right.
Yep.
And you're going to click add a DMARC record. Now the important part here is under policy, you do not want to click none. You want to click quarantine or reject. Quarantine means they'll quarantine any emails that look scammy or fishy. And then you can go in and review them and delete them if you want to. Reject means they're just going to reject them. So I don't get very many emails from actual people on my website. It's mostly spam. So I just clicked reject. If you
And
get
I
a lot
chose
of, yep, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say I chose to do reject as well because if people want to reach out to me, they usually do it through regular email or they do it on social media. No one ever goes to my website and then tries messaging me. I never get messages like that.
Right.
So I just did reject.
So if you get a lot of emails from actual people, you might want to click quarantine, but you have to click one of those two. If you click none, you're not going to be in compliance with Google and Yahoo's policies on February 1st. So she chose to click reject, so she clicked it, and then she hit save record. Boom.
And that's
Um,
it.
so then I had her go back to DMARC, you're going to see, and recheck it. And the first time she rechecked it, it can take up to 30 minutes. So wait a little while and just keep checking it. And so then we had her check it again, and boom,
Ta-da!
she's done. She is now in compliance with Yahoo and Google's new policies on sending bulk emails.
And when you have you walking me through it, Tina, it was not at all stressful. If I had to figure this out myself, I probably would have been in tears, but this is why I'm so glad we did this because I know that so many of our listeners are probably like me, dreading the end of the month, thinking like, I got to figure this out. I got to figure this out. Tina figured it out for us.
Right. And
Literally.
my number one learner kicked in, and my number one learner loves to learn things and then loves to teach people how to do them. So uh that was kind of a happy thing for me. It gave me energy pennies.
Yeah.
So
So hopefully that helps everybody. If you have any like questions, please reach out to me and I won't answer them, but you could reach out to Tina. Especially if you go to our Facebook group. If you've not joined our Facebook group yet, please do. A great group of people over there, sharing lots of great knowledge. But
and I
yeah.
can't guarantee you that I'll be a lot of help if you have something different than Namecheap, MailerLite, and cPanel, but
Mhm.
I'll certainly try. Like
And
I'm
if you
pretty good at Googling things.
Right. And if you have like any of the other big email providers, like what are some of the other ones?
MailChimp.
MailChimp, which that's a whole nother episode, right? Everyone's
Yeah,
bolting
I
from
think
MailChimp.
that one person mentioned BlueHost.
BlueHost is what other version of Namecheap.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So when you have a website, for those that are like your heads are really spinning, when you have a website, you have somebody who actually hosts it for you. And like it could be GoDaddy, Bluehost. We do Namecheap. They literally are cheaper. And we've had really good luck with the customer support. If you do your website through Wix or Squarespace, this is probably a totally different thing. They probably take care of it for you, I would guess, but I would double check. But they do
Right.
your website and your hosting all in one spot. But you pay for that. So they better do this for you because you pay a lot more for your
Mhm.
website than what those of us that do it this way do.
Right.
So
I don't think I pay anything. So well, yeah, I pay
you
like
do.
$15 a year for my domain name, and then
The hosting is
the
like
hosting.
50 some dollars a year. Like we do
Yeah.
pay, but and then you
Yeah.
pay for your SSL. All these things that we have to like do and have different things on our sites, you get it automatically in Squarespace. And like
Mhm.
honestly, there's times that I've been like, I just want to do Squarespace. I just want
Right.
them to take care of everything for me. But ultimately, like we do pretty well this way. So but
Yeah,
if you have
and
any
I found that Namecheap's customer service support is so good if you go into the live chat that
Mhm.
any problem I've had, they've been able to help me with very quickly.
Right, and I'm pretty sure they have it 24 hours, don't they? I mean,
Mhm.
it's a worldwide company, so
Yeah, the last time I did it, it was like 11:30 at night. So,
mm, so well, Jamie's back. We lost you there for a second, friend.
and now
It's
So
she's
been quite
squiggly
a
again.
morning.
She wasn't squiggly a minute ago, but now she is.
Oh, you've got to
Aw.
put the banner back up.
Oh, maybe
I
because we
guess
were
so.
sharing that video.
Yeah, the video.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I don't need these notes anymore.
Well, good job. When I got thrown out or whatever happened, I don't even know, with my internet or something.
Mhm,
You were saying how grateful you were that Tina figured this all out, and I just
mhm.
want to add my own thank you so much, because I was like, well, I guess I just won't be in compliance then, because I did not want to figure it out. I was like, oh no, not something else, you know?
That's how I felt. Like, I don't have any my plate is full. I don't have any room, and, like, luckily, we
Mhm.
have a friend who, like, cared enough about her own career to take care of it and then just show the rest of us.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it was a struggle the first time, but by the time I did it 3 times, I'm an expert now. I could
That's
do
all
anything.
it's
Yes,
all
and if
good.
you PayPal Tina $500, she'll do yours too.
Yeah.
A discount for listeners of all,
Yeah, if you're in the, Facebook group, I'll give you 50% off.
Oh, okay.
Hashtag sarcasm.
Yeah.
But we would like to have you in the Facebook group. So if you're not gone over there yet, please do. And then let us know if you have any issues or any questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. But honestly, if you get on chat with whoever your host is and you follow our directions, you're going to be fine. If you run into a snag, do a live chat with your whoever your host is, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, because we were recording, no issues. Everything went
Hmm.
smoothly. So that was great.
Yeah, the
So
only thing that I found that differed is, two of the sites told me to add a CNAME
mhm,
record, and one of them told me to add a TXT record. And so it took me, because I'm like I'm not a detail person. I'm like,
right.
Mm.
I didn't even look at that. I was trying to add a CNAME record and it wasn't working, and I was getting frustrated. And so I went back and I actually read it and it said TXT record. So I don't know
Mm.
what the difference was between those two domains.
So an idiot's version, because I'm the idiot. I'm not like creating guides for idiots. I'm just the idiot. I believe the way this works, only from my experience, is that a TXT file is the same as all the rest of them. It's just like dumbed down. Where the DMARC file, they do all the background work for you.
Hmm.
It starts off
Hmm.
as a TXT file, but they do all the work for you. You just have to click for it. A TXT file is you have to do it all, if that makes sense. So when you would go in and stuff you were going to put into for
CNAME.
the C name,
Yeah.
um you put it in as a TXT file, and you could put a bunch of you could be a TXT file, could be a C name, it could be this, it could be that. Does that
Right.
make sense? Like that, I'm not an expert, but that's what I gather from it. So
Yeah.
it
And my
should be
problem
fine.
was I just did not read the directions,
Oh my god.
because this was like my third time doing it. And I'm like, I know what to do.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of reiterated several times, like, make sure you read the directions,
Yeah.
because they might tell you something different.
And I don't
Mhm.
know why it would be a TXT and not a
I
DMARC.
don't know
Or
either.
I'm sorry, CPAN, a C name, but yeah, I don't know either. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
but I got it
awesome.
done, and we're all of our on my website. We don't send newsletters or bulk emails from the church, but
Mhm.
maybe we will. One day we might want to. So I did
Right.
that too.
Yep.
Anything you can do to legitimize yourself with our future artificial intelligence
Right.
overlords is
Right.
wise. You might as well ingratiate yourself while there's still time.
Yep.
Yep.
We have a new chatter. Musa says, "Good afternoon. I'm following all the way from Gambia, West Africa." Well, welcome, Musa. We're so happy to have you here. All right, Jamie, you're back with us just in time for your favorite part of the show. It is our feeding of the backs time, where we for if you're new here, what we do is for 15 minutes at some point right before we go live, we spend time writing to the same prompt. All three of us choose the same, have the same prompt, and then we don't edit, we don't look at them again, and we share them live with you here on the show. And so Tina, well, let's do Jamie since she just joined us. She'll be our guinea pig. Jamie, what was our sprint today? The prompt, and share with us what you wrote, please. Oh, I think she froze. Really? Oh yeah, she froze.
All right. You want me to go first then?
Yep, we'll do that. I'll take her out until she comes back.
Okay. We had 5 words.
Mhm.
Um, we did not choose them. They were randomized. And I think we're going to fire our randomizer. But anyway.
Normally, I love to say it's Tina's fault, but I did it this week. So absolutely
Yeah.
my fault. And she said to me, she's like, you could have like
Rejected them and got
rejected
5
them. And I'm
different
like,
words.
and I literally said to her, I thought about it, but Evil Jen thought the others are going to have to write to this too. So yes, I'm going to have
Yeah.
to write to it,
Evil
but they're
Jen
going
for
to have
sure.
Evil Jen for sure. So
Okay, so here are our wonderful words. Diplomat, duck, zone, hot dog, one word, which makes it a verb,
verb.
and wrestle. So that was our words. So here's what I wrote. Sort of in my murder mystery world. It is in the murder mystery world, but I don't think I'm using it. That's what I meant. Okay, here we go. The Diplomat Diner was a seedy looking place on the outskirts of the swamp. Its gravel parking lot was full of pickup trucks, jeeps, and motorcycles, most of them coated in mud. Detective Reed parked in the no parking zone, fairly sure there were no other cops within miles of this place. It wasn't that he thought himself above the law. It was simply the only place to park without the possibility of being ambushed by a gator hiding among the high grasses lining the shoreline.
Mm.
The tinkling bell on the door caused heads to turn in his direction. Most of the faces didn't appear friendly, and he fully expected to hear someone comment about smelling bacon. He slid onto a stool at the counter and picked up the menu, surprised at its eclectic offerings. Who in their right mind would order duck a la orange from a la orange? I can't pronounce that. In a place like this. What can I get you? The girl behind the counter stared at him, a hand on her hip and her foot tapping. Black coffee and a piece of apple pie, he said. The girl turned without responding, grabbed a white coffee cup from a stack of supposedly clean ones, and poured from a glass carafe stained with dark rings. She plopped it down in front of him, then pulled a plate with apple pie and pulled out a plate with apple pie and slid it at him, still wrapped in cellophane. That it? She asked. Yes, thank you, but I wonder if, and I have 3 question marks here because I couldn't remember the guy's name.
Oh,
Is working today? Nah. Lucky for the customers, he ain't been here for days, she said. He's a horrible cook. Detective Reed raised an eyebrow, wondering what kind of cook couldn't meet the standards of this place. Halfway through his pie, Detective Reed noticed a group of rough looking fellows in leathers coming toward him. The ringleader was a regular hot dog, bouncing as he walked until he almost looked like he was prancing. Detective Reed held his tongue against the urge to ask him if he'd just come from watching Saturday Night Fever. Hey, Porky, the Travolta character said. What you doing here? You don't belong here, and I think you should leave. Detective Reed had no desire to wrestle with this group of hooligans. 3, 2, 1.
oh, so good. I love this.
I got all
cannot
the
wait.
words.
You did. I did not. You like Jamie commented in the comments that she did not catch that hot dog as was a verb, and I was wondering if any of our other listeners are would have like noticed that. But well done. I love the scenery and how you in this writing, how you set up where we were. Like, I did not want to eat that apple pie or drink that coffee. Like, just listening to the description, so well done. And then you get to the part where you were leading us, I think, was that how bad could this guy be if everyone thinks he's a bad cook in this kind of place. So yeah, well done.
Thanks.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, what I heard in my intermittent participation, sorry about that, everybody, I loved because what I really like about this character is that he seems to understand how he is perceived by everybody else, and it bothers him not one fig. And in fact, I feel like he leans into it. Like, he really appreciates how funny it is. And, you know, a lot of police officers might be really not happy about being called a pig or any of those kind, because it's terrible. But this guy is sort of like, can see the humor in it, which kind of shows you something about his character without even getting too deep into it. Like, you've seen a lot and been through a lot if you are that bulletproof as far as bullying goes.
Yeah. That's a good perception. What do you feel like
Thanks,
that's your
guys.
character too, Tina?
Not on purpose.
Well, because it's
But
coming alive for you as you write.
yeah, but I'm definitely going to note down that
Mhm.
observation and keep my eye out for it in the writing of the books. So.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's great. We're not the only ones that thought it was great. Meg says, good job, Tina. And Shell says, great scene and characters, Tina. Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And SL says, fantastic, Tina. Felt like watching a scene in a movie. Yeah, that I agree with that. Yeah. So, all right, I will go next. And we're back in Marnie and Mr. Boss's world because there was no way this was going to be historical with these words.
Right.
Okay.
And we love Marnie and the Boss. So.
I know. I should just probably stop everything I'm doing and just write this book. Just to make my heart happy, probably.
It'd probably be fun.
Yeah. I need some fun in my life. All right. Are you trying to friend zone me, Martin? Marnie's heart hitched in her chest at not only Mr. Boss's nearness, but also his blatant recognition of what was happening between them. Her desire to run from the situation wrestled with her desire to throw herself into his arms and kiss that arrogant sneer off his face. She took a step backward, but found herself against the wall. Mr. Boss's sneer stretched into a full grin as he placed his hands on either side of her, caging her in. I don't know what you're talking about, she stuttered. She hated sound like an idiot, but her mind was turning to mush this close to the man. Both his eyebrows shot up. Am I not being clear enough? Let me try a little harder. His eyes fell to her lips, then back to her eyes. This time his smile was slow and seductive, leaving little doubt as to his intent. As he leaned in, warning bells set off in Marnie's head. This was Mr. Boss, the man who controlled her career, the man everyone feared, the man she downright hated, and he was about to kiss her. And, she realized to her surprise, she wanted him to. In a flash, she ducked under his arm and placed herself on the other side of the table. This is inappropriate. You are my boss. Technically, my father is your boss. Same thing. No, not really, he said. I can't actually promote you or fire you. Marnie crossed her arms. We both know that's not true. She didn't really know that, but she assumed it. So this is completely inappropriate. He shook his head. Always the diplomat, eh, Martin? He shrugged. Okay, you're fired. 3, 2, 1. Literally, I typed fired as the timer went 1.
I was anticipating that from the minute she said this is inappropriate. You're my boss. I'm like, she's gonna fire her.
That's great. Really a fun scene, Jen. I'm sure you have to see. You're so happy writing this.
I am. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun writing it. So, and I've kind of been heading this direction. I've got a bunch of other scenes where like he tells her that like she's in the wrong job, kind of a thing. Like, so I don't know. Yeah.
And you certainly just up the stakes. Like if she's really fired.
Yeah, like, my brain is.
He really meant it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
My brain is spinning with the possibilities. What could happen next? Which is what you want for your readers.
And the tension and the, from her. Now she's really gonna hate him. Like the love-hate thing is really gonna come out if he actually fires her.
Meg McDonald says big kiss and then rehire.
That's kind I gotta get the mouse over there. That's funny. That's kind of what I was thinking. Honestly. That's so funny.
That's great.
SL says fans self. Wow, Mr. Boss. All right, so is it too much? This is the other thing. Is sometimes you just write and then you go back and you fix it. Like as I'm writing this, I'm like, is this too much? Like using the word seductive might be a little bit much for Christian. I don't know. But again, it's just a tidbit, right? So, and then
Shell says, "Nice one, Jen."
Thanks, Shell. So, yeah, that was fun.
Good stuff.
Thanks, guys. All right, speaking of fun, Jamie.
Yeah, I hope I am able to stick around through the reading. I apparently got 0 words because I misappropriated hot dog
and that's the only word you used?
We only found it out because Jen was questioning whether hot dog was 1 word.
I was mad because I'm like, hot dog's 2 words. This isn't real. And we just put this out as a graphic for the whole world to know that we don't know the English language. I was like,
Googled it. And found out that a hot dog is 1 word, is a verb.
But
it's tremendous.
Full disclosure, when I did the words on Tuesday, I said it out loud then, and Tina's like, well, unless it's a verb, just kind of flippantly, well, unless it's a verb. And then she went back to what she was doing. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I got busy. And then today I'm like, I don't think it's a word. I don't think it's a word. And I look it up. I'm like, oh, unless it's a verb. And she's like, oh yeah. Like she didn't look it up. She just knew it. I'm like,
I love us.
I just didn't
know.
realize that she was talking about the 5 words. Like, I wasn't sure why suddenly she was worried about whether hot dog was one.
Right. We went to Sprint today. We started to Sprint and she's like, oh, this is why you asked me that. I was like, you thought I was just randomly talking about hot dogs in the middle of our meeting.
What do I know?
Oh, that's great.
Oh my word.
Now that I'm crying,
and self.
Yes.
my glasses are fogging up.
That's
we
tremendous.
really should record our meetings and like make people pay to watch them. 'cause
I'm telling you,
sometimes some funny stuff happens.
if I could find an easy way to record the before show, but not tell you guys, because I think we would be different. Like, oh my gosh, we would either make money from charging our listeners to actually watch it, or make money from each other having to pay for us not to air it.
Blackmail. All
Uh-huh.
right, we better let Jamie read because there's 13 minutes left till she has
Oh
to
yeah,
go.
and I could be hanging in by a thread. I have no idea what Spectrum has in store.
Okay.
All right, here we go. We're ready to go, Chuck. Come on. Give me a minute, will ya? Chuck had not set the air rifle down. He had not even bothered to take his eyes off the parade of duck-shaped targets at the back of the booth. Missy knew it would be more than a minute before he would be ready to leave. She sighed. Come on, kids, she said, and led them to the tent with the corn box. Fortunately, they were still at an age where digging in and pouring out cupfuls of dried corn was an amusement, and for the most part, watching them do so was an amusement for Missy as well. But she herself was long past the age of finding any enchantments at the fair. She tried to keep a smile on her face on fair day, tried not to react in shock at the price of the armband Chuck would buy for himself, and suppressed her desire to ride anything, and mentioned the kids were too small to really appreciate the few age-appropriate rides there were for them, secretly thinking of how many meals so much money could have provided for their little brood, only to watch that saved money go into the aprons of the carnival booth workers and the beer vendors. The children's tent with the corn bin was a godsend. She loved how it was bright and clean and festively decorated with corn stalks and hay bales, and she enjoyed inhaling deeply the scent of freshly popped corn. It was almost as good as eating some, if one was inclined to be imaginative. A smile that was actually authentic did appear on her lips then, and she thanked the God she'd long stopped relying on to save her from her situation for this gift. And I have my health, she reminded herself, as her eyes bounced from each of her children around the other parental onlookers and senior citizens seeking respite from the sun. Excuse me, a man's voice spoke from over her shoulder, and she turned and looked up into a pair of wise and crinkled brown eyes. I was wondering if you could make use of these. He extended a trembling hand. In it were several food coupons for the tent's concessionary. What? Missy had both heard and comprehended the offer, but was so surprised by it, the singular syllable was all she could manage. You see, I was going to get my wife a hot dog and soda, but she's suddenly not feeling well enough to eat. The man gestured to a woman across the way, sitting in a wheelchair. She was grinning and clapping. Missy noticed her youngest was clapping also, and was looking directly back at the woman in the chair. Her eyes grew hot and wet, and she swiped at them with the cuff of her hoodie. You don't have to. You'd be doing us a favor, young lady. We hate to waste. But are you sure? At that moment, Missy's middle, the boy, ran up and hugged his mama at the waist. Can we? And then the timer went off. I had more, but.
Oh, so good. Is this the first time you've written these characters?
Yes.
Because I feel like the name Missy was familiar, but the characters, I don't remember that. All right. I love this. I love that it feels like modern, but yet still has that the Jamie like classic character feel to it. I just very, very much love this. I love the crinkled brown eyes, which tells you immediately that it's an older gentleman without knowing that it's an older gentleman, right? So
Yeah.
I love it so much. Yeah. You do great characters and great descriptions always.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And the tension between, wanting to go and having to take the kids to the corn box, and the fact that the money was going to go to all these stalls and the beer, like it
Mhm.
told you everything about her family dynamics, that you
Mhm.
need to know in that situation.
Like, we already hate her husband or boyfriend or whoever it is. We already hate him,
Yeah.
and we really haven't met him in the story yet. So, yeah,
That's
really well
great.
done.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SL says, "Aw, Jamie, so sweet. My heart feels a little fuller." Yeah, agreed. Meg says, "As always, great job setting the stage. Very classic." Yes. And Shell says, "Such a great detail, Jamie."
Thank you,
Agree with all.
everybody. I love Friday.
I know. Friday's the best. It's the best. All right. So it is the best, but that we always have to come back to closing out the show with our what's next. And sometimes that's not always the best because I sometimes don't know what's going on. But so let's start since your internet's working right now, Jamie. Let's start with you. What's next for you?
I really, as far as writing, I don't know. I will say that I am more optimistic about the fact that I will return to the writing because there's always this yes, but will you?
Mhm.
But I've not given up. I just feel like I've needed whatever this break has been. And of course, while I am not writing, I'm ruminating on plot points and character development. And I think that the work will be all the better for it.
Mhm.
So you never know. I might bust open that project and get to work on it. I won't see you all for a few weeks because I'll have in-office days on Fridays next month. But maybe I'll have a report that I've gotten back into the work
Mm.
coming up because I've got enough professionally going on to kind of keep me busy to where I think I am looking for creative outlets and maybe the work won't feel so worky if I
Mhm.
am excited about the improvements to it. So, what
Right.
about you, Jen?
Well, kind of in agreement with it. Oh, first of all, though, are you also going to do your DMARC stuff?
Oh,
You can
yeah.
check 'em out. Yeah, so that's
I
in your what's
forgot
next.
already.
Yeah, don't forget, you gotta do
I
that.
put an alarm in my phone, I guess.
Yeah. So, Jamie, my what's next is kinda gonna go along with yours. I'm still working on organizing and getting a workspace that I can feel creative in. But I've been really like thinking on and remembering what it was like when I first started really writing in junior high and high school.
Mm,
And when I was in that stage, I every spare minute I had, I was writing. And I would have legal pads or notebooks, and I would have one for each store, and I would be working on multiple stories, but I was just, how do I get back to the joy that I had writing like that? And I know life is different now. In high school, you think you're busy, right? Until you
mm.
like have kids and have careers and but still it's more about the joy. Maybe I won't have as much free time, but it's the joy that I'm looking for. And I honestly think I'm going to go back to notebooks. I think I'm
Mm,
going to try that for a little while. Like, yes, I obviously still my laptop, but maybe it's just enough to like kickstart me, or maybe that's just what I need to do to really find the joy. And then just have fun like this, like writing the characters and discovering like I know enough about story um plotting that I think I could write almost by the seat of my pants. I don't want to do that entirely, but I want to be able to go in and just write scenes. And like I know like I've got these things outlined. Let's just go in and with a notebook and just kind of write it and see what happens and maybe find the joy. And maybe it's stuff I will never use. Maybe it won't ever like see the light of day, but maybe I can bring a little bit of that joy back into my life. So that's what I'm gonna try.
I
So
love that. And can I offer a yes and to that? Like, I
yeah.
think what would really benefit you is if you found somebody that you could share that raw stuff with, because I think you really like to
Mhm.
provoke the reaction. And
Yeah, I
so
do.
even
You
if
know
it's like
that.
your daughter, or even if you
Mhm.
know, reach out to Tina or myself to just be like, I want to see your reaction as you read this, and maybe a writing group, and maybe not even the stuff that you're writing that you think is going to make the final cut, but maybe you could just write for the sake of eliciting reaction as exercises or something, Anyway, I think it's a great plan, and I just wanted to offer that to you.
Thanks.
And as a former homeschool mom, I don't know how much help your girls need, like one-on-one when they're doing
Mhm.
school, but I used to sit in at my desk with my son when he was homeschooling, and that was my writing time.
Mhm.
And I set aside that time, like during this class, while he was doing this class, I was going to be doing this.
Mhm.
And that might help you to get that time in, depending
Yeah,
on what else you have to do. But
right. Yeah, so they need very little help at this stage, which makes me feel really guilty as a homeschool mom, but Jamie had made me feel better about this years ago, that if I had homeschooled from preschool on, this would have been the transition. They would be doing it on their own anyway, and that is part of helping them towards adulthood, because my
mhm,
son, who works at a Christian university, has shared with me, like, he first had this, like, opinion of what homeschool kids were when he went off to college, and what he learned was the homeschool kids had no issue with the transition, because they,
they're
like,
already independent
yeah, they
learners.
already,
Yeah.
like, yeah, they already know, like, all right, I have these assignments, it's on me, I'm gonna get it done, as opposed to the kids that come from at least in his experience, coming from public school and having a teacher constantly remind you, don't forget this Friday, don't forget this Friday. Homeschool kids don't have that. They just kind of
Mhm,
like, this is, here's my schedule, I own it. So
mhm,
yeah, so that, it's just me also taking the time and sitting down, because lots of times when they're doing that, I'm like buzzing around doing other things, so that when they're done, I can be with them doing things. So
right.
it's
So
it's
like
also about priority. I would be lying if I didn't
you
say,
have this whole time period where they're doing school. You could
mhm.
set aside 1 hour.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's like sleep when the baby's sleeping. Nobody ever takes that advice.
I should though, but yeah, I agree, but I should, because yeah.
But,
Um,
your point, to make it fun for you will, like, help that. Like, I mean,
I
this
think
is the
so.
piece that you're feeling like you're missing, and so you may not have a hard time making a priority once you get your joy back.
Yeah, I agree. So I think I'm gonna go buy some new notebooks.
Ooh, I
Fun.
wanna go with you just because I want new
Uh
notebooks. I don't have anything to write in them, but
I found some pens on clearance at Walmart, and I'm bad. Anyway, we're just gonna pens and notebooks. I'm a sucker. So, all right,
I just
Tina.
went and bought 4 packs of index cards because
Ooh.
I couldn't decide if I wanted colored or white,
Mhm,
ruled or blank.
mhm.
So I bought 2 packs of colored, 1 ruled, 1 blank, and 2 packs of white, 1 ruled and 1 blank. So when I get
Makes total
ready
sense.
to do what I'm doing with them, I will make up my mind what makes me happy in that moment.
Listen, once my office is stocked like a Staples or an Office Depot, I'm sure I'll be much more productive.
Yeah.
Right.
My husband wanted to put a wooden cross on our dining room table because we have a church in our house,
Mhm,
and so people and have Post-it notes so people could put prayers on the cross.
Mm.
mhm.
And he goes, "We need to go get some Post-it notes," and I was like, no, we don't."
Oh, I'd have been like, "See you in the car." There'd have been a streak across the house, and I'd have been sitting in the car waiting for him to get out there.
Well, I didn't feel like going anywhere that day.
Oh,
And it was a Sunday, and we were getting ready for church, and I was just like, "We don't need to have like an emergency rush to the store." I literally have thousands of Post-it notes.
mm.
So is
I
your what next gonna be deciding which pack of index cards you want to use, and what are you doing
Well,
with
I'm
them?
doing this thing on Saturday about a different type of goal setting where it's more like a dominoes
Hmm.
kind of thing where doing task 1 knocks down the setting the next domino
Mm.
because
Mm,
I don't do well with dates for goals.
mm,
Like like a like a date that I have to have it done by. I do much better with this is task 1 and I need to get task 1 done, and when task 1 is done, it's gonna knock over task 2 so that I can do task 2 and get the things done. So it's like a new system, and there's like this whole day long webinar thing that I'm going to, and she said to have a trifold board or a foam board and some index cards and post-it notes and different
mm.
things. So I had everything but the index cards and the foam board, so I went out shopping to get those. And
Sounds
I'm
like a
doing that
dream.
Saturday, and I'm hoping Monday, I'm hoping, like, I just had surgery in my mouth, and so I'm hoping like all that's over with and I can just sit down Monday and concentrate on my career and not have pain in my mouth and not feel sick. Like I feel like this whole year from January 1st, I've been sick or
Mhm.
I've had this pain. Like I broke a tooth down
Months
into the
ago.
gum line and I had to have it removed surgically and I can't stand pain in my mouth. So it's been almost 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks on Tuesday, so hopefully it'll be healed and I can just, finish what I'm starting to do.
All right.
Whatever that I decide to do. Whatever I decide that first domino is on Saturday, I want to start doing that on Monday morning.
All
That
right.
makes sense.
That sounds awesome. All
Yeah.
right. If you would like to share with us your what's next, we'd love to hear it in our Facebook group over there. The link to it is in our show notes. But until next week, may your pen be prolific, may your deadlines be met, and may all of your words honor Christ. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.